Good evening, dear subscribers. This is my solution. I've been thinking about this all week due to the fact that I had that disaster of forgetting to turn my lovely little clip microphone on, which seems to pick up just about everything from every angle. That I'm extremely happy about, but obviously I'm not happy about not being able to give you the video that I shot because I don't know how I'd even begin to edit in silence, because when I'm editing, my audio is my cue to make the cuts. So without that, I'd be lost, and technically I might have been able to do it. I'm hoping that you'll kindly forgive me for missing those two fully because of the sound problem. I've made sure I turned my microphone on for this, so hopefully it's picking up everything. I'm going to recap 17 and 18. Now, 17 revolved around putting those two side bits on the top of the skull. That bit was extremely exciting for me to see that at last and actually put it together. And then in 17, this is still, I put these three, one's still wobbly, no, that one's still wobbly, plastic joints on the end of the hand. And that was it. And then, come 18, what I did was put this blue plastic thing in, and as I explained in the update video about this, it's too dangerous to remove this and make the video again, which is what I would have wanted to do. But although it's strong enough in there, it's very strong, it's not strong enough to withstand being unscrewed and then screwed in again, because the plastic is quite flimsy right there. So once again, I cannot apologise enough. I will try not to make that mistake again. We can only hope. I can only try my best. And then aside from that, obviously I've joined the jaws together finally. That was a very significant part of the whole build for sure, because that's going to be moving one day on its own. It should be exciting to see. It's not moving very much right now. Anyway, it doesn't need to move very much, does it? Yeah, the teeth I'm still a bit wonky, but maybe I'll just force them to be not wonky somehow. I'm not quite sure how. Anyway, they don't look quite right, but as I was saying in my video that you'll sadly not see, that's the whole point, because it's supposed to be human-ish. That was 17 and 18. I hope that recap told you everything, because it wasn't a massive amount that I was actually doing. It was just, as I say, the motor, the two sides of the head, and the little plastic joints on the bottom of the hand. That was it. It was quite a task getting this to join up, because you have to screw right underneath. It's a bit dark down there. Oh, there you go. You had to screw at the top, and of course obviously those two as well, but actually getting it to know where it's supposed to match up was very tricky. But once you got them all tight, it's nicely in there. So there you go. That was 17 and 18. And obviously, just to treat you, I'm moving on to 19 and 20, and we're finally hitting 20 at the end of this video, of which I've only just remembered to turn my on button on the microphone, and I hope I've put it in the right place so that you can always hear me. So in 19 we're working on another part of the motor. I don't know if this is a motor that's going to attach to the motor or its own separate motor, but one thing I do know, it's a motor. And another thing I've noticed is that they seem to be giving us screws per issue. This is going to be a hell of a lot of screws, because I still have some left over from I think about 5 parts ago, maybe even more. So we're definitely getting enough screws. I guess you can never have too many. I'd rather have too many than not enough. Makes me feel safe when I keep throwing us more screws. Look at that. They've even put a note in just for me. In some of the steps we have used tweezers to rip the parts. This is done for clarity in photographs. It may not be necessary to use tweezers. You're damn right. It's totally unnecessary half the time. But anyway, it's nice of you to mention me, Hachette. Thank you for adjusting your magazines, especially after watching all my videos, which I'm sure you have been. First thing I have to do is join these two pieces together. This piece I need to have up this way with the little loop hanging down there, or the hole, and that joins onto this piece, and it will only go one way because you've got the little center pin there. You can only put it one way, like that, and you've got to screw those in with what they call 19.5 screws, which is a lot easier for me to say than 6mm screws all the time, so I'm going to call them 19.5 screws from now on. Maybe. That is what you call screwed in. One thing I'm starting to notice about this build is that when they screw things together, they really go to town, because those are sunken into the plastic. I was expecting them to stop at the edge, but no, they just carried on going. Okay, next part is I need to take this part and have it up that way, and then stick this into there, and we're matching basically these two holes with these two holes on the edge of the motor, and we're screwing it in with the silver screws 19.6 with the little hats on them, as I like to say. But there's one slight problem with these instructions. Can you spot what that is? Yes, it's the fact that they maybe didn't realise that this would need a sticker over the top of it, so it looks completely different from the picture, despite the fact that those tweezers look like there should be a couple of wires trailing out from the back of the plastic there, so that's confusing, but this is the right way up. So let me screw this in, and next I need to make sure that this little wheel here is turned around to that position. It was somewhere around down there somewhere, I think, but anyway, you need to turn it all the way around to make sure that it butts up against the little sticking out bit there. They actually say butts up to the wedge on the housing, and the other sticky out bit is down the bottom. And now it's time for a meeting of motors. You basically need to find the 3 holes there and match it on up to the 3 holes there and stick it on top like so, and then you need to screw all those in. There you go, like so. Just basically match up all the holes and screw those in with the 19.5s. That sounds cool saying that. I keep forgetting I don't have to aim my head around up towards the mic, because hopefully this is picking up everything at the same level, but hopefully I'll soon find out when I come to editing. Anyway, oh dear, I've cracked the plastic. You can see it right there, which is unfortunate, but I have a feeling that these sticking out bits here are serving no other purpose in the design other than to make sure that you always put the things on the right way round. And you know what? I'm absolutely fine with that, because if it means there's less chance of me going wrong, well, how could I be not happy about that? There we go, that's the piece with a little cracked piece. I'm not convinced it's going to matter that much. It's not really holding anything on or anything critical together. That's what those are doing in the main body, I think. So we'll see. But anyway, that is the end of part 19. So let's see what we need to do in 20. And in 20 we are working with the head again, and we're actually mounting the motor inside the head, combined with a couple of these random brackets on the outside of the build so far, or the outside of what will be inside the head so far. Alright, first thing I need to do is take the black plastic brackety thing, very technical term I know, and match it up. See the 3 holes in the bottom? You're matching it with those in the bottom of the skull. So, and they actually do fit on very nicely, because the metal plus the plastic then forms a long, sort of extra long pillar, so it should be fairly secure in there once I've screwed it down, which I'm about to do. Now the only thing that bothers me once again is working around the wires for the eyeballs, which do tend to just fall out if you pull them just a little bit or dislodge them a tiny bit. Okay, that's in there. Now I do love their instructions. Let me read this. Expert tip: if the self-tapping screws are a tight fit, it sometimes helps to repeatedly screw forwards a half turn followed by a quarter turn backwards until secure. In other words, no, it's not our bad design at all. The reason why they're not doing upright is because you're not screwing them up properly. Yeah, come on Hachette, it's time to get over yourselves. You can't always be right. Okay, what they want me to do here is take this from this side with a little pin sticking out the side, and you need to fit that pin through the loop that's already there. So it sits like that, quite awkwardly, I must say, until I worked out that next. After that, they want you to put this half a plastic ring over the top of the end of the barrel and then screw that down either side of the barrel of the motor. This could be quite taxing, or it could be quite easy. I don't think there's any grey area here. Let me go and try and do this. Okay, occupational hazard. I didn't remember to turn my microphone on for the last part. I'm re-recording this. You need to put the bracket with the left side, which has got the bit at the top there, so you know it can only be that piece, because the other piece doesn't look the same. As you can see, this piece is down the bottom in fact. So it's going to be that side, and you're matching that up with the screw hole in the front of the head and with the back of the head. I do a screw hole just there. These are with the 4mm silver screws, and hopefully it's going to be nice and secure. Now I hope these wires are going to be coming out the way that they say they are. We're not going to have about 20 parts time saying, oh yeah, by the way, no, sorry, we meant the wires need to come out the back of the head. So fingers crossed. Anyway, he's got a very square looking head now, hasn't he? That's interesting. But the motor's in there. Anyway, let me go and screw these down. You've got to do that side, and then of course you need to do virtually the same thing on the other side. Alright, they're both on there. And that takes us to the end of part 20. I've not had the greatest fun with all this screwing around. Literally, that bit's solid, that bit is not solid. And you know why? Because I've completely shredded that screw. It takes a really bad kind of screw to be threaded that easily, because I wasn't doing anything unusual, just trying to screw it in really tight. But it threaded with both screwdrivers, because I'm still using my R2D2 one as well. But anyway, we're going to have to hope that that's secure enough, because that screw is threaded. So anyway, that's the end of parts 19 and 20. Hope you've enjoyed watching. I do apologise again for my lack of 17 and 18, but the recap, there wasn't really much more to it than that. They're small parts, so hopefully that's caught you up on 4 parts. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to chill out with a PS4 game, and I will see you next time.